Hey everyone, Airball here, and this is the first video of a new series I want to try making. So the main idea here is that the Degen Open, the next Degen Open, is on January 22nd, and it's in the Alchemy format. And between the Arena Decathlon and Vacation and the last Degen event, I haven't spent much time in Alchemy at all. So I set out today to try to get into the format and see what's good and what isn't. And so I fired up channelfireball.com and found an article by Andre Mangucci, who was one of my favorite Magic players, who wrote an article called Everything You Need to Know About Alchemy. That sounded promising. I opened it up, and he has 11 decks that feature the most powerful cards from the new format and the main archetypes that you need to know about. And I thought that this would be a good way to have like a sort of guided tour of the format. And I will take you through it, and you will watch me struggle along the way. So the first deck that I want to do on this tour is Izzet Dragons, because it has a bunch of standard in it, but it also has a bunch of new powerful enablers. And the main players are the ones that you kind of expect from standard. You have Goldspan Dragon, who is the same as always. He's taken a little bit of a nerf. You don't get a treasure whenever he's targeted anymore, but he still does create a treasure every turn he attacks and doubles the mana from those treasures. You have your Fading Hopes to deal with the board, your Spikefield Hazards to deal with your Thalias, your Divide by Zeros to deal with whatever, and to fetch lesson cards from the sideboard. So a lot of this is already pretty familiar to us. And of course, we have the ultimately efficient Dragon's Fire, which is, if you have Imrith in your hand, a 5 damage removal spell for 2 at instant speed, which is pretty great. So the main addition from Alchemy in this deck, and in my opinion, the most powerful card in the new format altogether, is this card, Fearsome Whelp. It's 1 and a red for a dragon. 1/1, doesn't seem all that impressive. But at the beginning of your end step, each dragon card in your hand perpetually gains this spell costs 1 less to cast. And this effect is insane, and in my opinion, probably needs a bit of a nerf. So imagine, you're playing Fearsome Whelp, turn 2 on the play, you have a Goldspan Dragon, or a Galzes Prismari, or Imrith, or many, or even multiples in your hand, and you get to your end step because your opponent has played a tap land on 1. And now all of a sudden, Galzes Prismari costs 3, Imrith costs 4. Now imagine it survives another turn. Now all of a sudden, Galzes Prismari costs 2, Goldspan Dragon costs 3, and this is just insanity. So, Fearsome Whelp can enable these bonkers powerful draws that can just take over a game and leave the opponent in the dust. So that's the curve you're looking for. The main problem with a card like Fearsome Whelp is that if you draw it late in the game, or if you run out of material in your hand, the effect doesn't do anything and you're left with a 1/1 flyer that's not particularly impactful. So that's the reason that we're blue instead of just mono red or Boros, because blue gives us access to a bunch of card draws, not just managing the board with Fading Hope and Divide by Zero, but we also have Imrith Desert Doom, which is a big beater that is also pretty good at blocking the enemy creatures until we can consolidate our board. They can't target it with removal without paying the steep ward 4 price if it's untapped. And when it hits the opponent, we draw more cards. Similarly, we have probably one of the best card draw spells in Magic right now in Expressive Iteration. This card just does it all. You can dig pretty deep to find exactly what you need in the given moment. And the other main addition from Alchemy is this Forsaken Crossroads card. I kind of like this card design. Way to give you like a catch-up mechanism if you're on the draw. This comes in untapped. If you're on the play, it just scries. So that's kind of cool. So basically, what we're trying to do is play big dragons and beat the opponent before they know what hit them. Let's get into some games and see how the deck does. Okay, so we're on the draw against Super Bob. We don't have a Fearsome Whelp in our hand. We do have an Orb, which is another accelerator that's almost as good. And we have a Fading Hope to try to stay alive to cast it. Or to cast the dragons. If we're keeping this, I would love to draw an untapped land off the top. No such luck. I don't think we're Fading Hoping the Shambling Ghast, though, so I don't think there's a reason to have blue available on 1. I also don't know how much I care about having the Smashing available. Yeah, I think I'm fine just playing this tapped. This is the one that fetches planes, so it's not really super scary. We just kind of need our stuff to live. So next turn, we will be able to cast the Townraiser Tyrant. Hopefully put a significant amount of pressure on them. Splitting Announcement. Interesting. This is like a super go widey tokens deck. So Shadow Skull Smashing actually looking pretty great against these 1/1s. When does this transform? They need Coven? Sure. This card's super powerful. By itself on the draw, it's definitely significantly worse. But at least it, it does some damage. It leaves an effect on the battlefield well after the opponent kills it. And of course, black-white is going to have many ways to kill this. Yeah, okay. Rite of Oblivion, reasonably good card in the format. As good as the sacrifice decks are, essentially. We can run it back with Townraiser Tyrant if that's what we decide we want to do. When this flips, it anthems everything, so there is some incentive to just get this stuff out of here now. What's the alternative? We can also... Actually, we have Divide by Zero for the enchantment once it flips anyway, so this is not so bad. I think I'm just going to play Imrith here. Townraiser Tyrant Fading Hope is also an option, depending on what they do. But I think I like the thing that has Ward. Like, a removal spell here is super likely, and the Ward 4 is non-trivial for them to deal with. Sure. So I'm reluctant to attack with Imrith if they hold up mana. They could kill it at the cost of their whole turn and a Doomblade. That's the hovering of someone who has a kill spell and doesn't want to cast it into the ward. Okay. Felstinger's a good one. Also attacks profitably into the Imrith. I do want to put pressure on them, but I don't want to... I don't want to expose Imrith. And we can hold up Divide by Zero and Fading Hope if that's what we decide we want to do. Three is steep, but I think I like it. And we're not attacking here. Fading Hope lets us kill the token. Divide by Zero deals with the Felstinger. Okay, sure, or they can sack it. This is a sorcery, right? Yeah. So I think I like just bouncing this. And if they want to replay it and exploit, then so be it. I like Divide here as well. Divide will give us the opportunity to protect Imrith. even bounce our own Imrith if that's what we decide we want to do, and it'll get a discount from the Fearsome Whelp in the future. So we'll make them pay the ward. And we're drawing another Divide by Zero. I actually actively want them to recast this. Let's keep the Imrith around and draw a bunch of cards. Yeah, cool. Okay, Orzhov stuff. They had the snow package, right? Yeah, so somewhat fearful of, like, Blood on the Snow, Lolth shenanigans. Cinderclasm seems decent against the X ones that they have. I'm not totally sure about that, but it seems okay. Spikefield Hazard seems good. We'll hold on to that. I think Townraiser Tyrant is worse than usual in the matchup. Dragon's Fire seems quite poor. Good chance that they have, like, Edgar or something. Maybe we're supposed to cut the Dragon's Fires and bring in the Strokes to deal with, like, Edgar, Blood on the Snow, Lolth, Sorin, that kind of stuff. Although, like, I don't think I want it that bad that I'm willing to bring in Negate. Although I suppose, like, their creatures aren't going to do anything against us without the help of some big Planeswalker or instant sorcery, so maybe I do want Negate. Let's give this a try. I'm not totally sure about this. On the play, I think I will bring back in the Townraiser Tyrant that we boarded out. On the draw, of course, he's not as good. Just can't find these Fearsome Whelps in our opening hand. Do have to be a little worried about discard coming from the opponent. They kept... I think we have to keep this, unfortunately. I'm going to hold on to this Mimic in the hopes that I can cast it as a spell, and I'm going to bluff the Spikefield Hazard, for whatever good that does. Orb is pretty good, honestly. I will take that. Next turn, we'll have the option of playing either the Townraiser Tyrant or the Prismari. I think I prefer... If the Galazeth Prismari lives, then we'll get to Expressive Iteration plus Townraiser Tyrant the following turn, which seems sweet. Let's do that. I mean, we'll get to do it no matter what. But the ideal would be being able to use the treasures without cracking them. Okay. That's pretty good. Yeah. Yeah. So this will flip, and it'll flip immediately. I won't get a chance to respond to it. No, it'll happen on their end step. I don't want to let them sacrifice it, though. Yeah. We'll just do this. And you get to see the power, like the synergy of Galazeth Prismari and the Orb. The Orb, as an artifact, normally will just have to cast dragon spells, but now it just turns into like a normal 2-mana mana rock. Because it can cast your dragons at a discount, or it can cast instants or sorceries as well, which is like the entire deck. All right, so play here is probably Expressive Iteration plus Glasspool Mimic. Let's see what we find first. Find another orb. Nothing too exciting. This does represent a redraw at least. Put the orb to hand. Oh, I actively want to draw that more later, I think. So we can do this. It doesn't. If we do this, it does not allow us to also Glasspool Mimic. So I think what we're going to do here is we're going to Glasspool Mimic on the Townraiser Tyrant and crack the orb on their end step. If they want to use a kill spell, they've got to do it now. Probably should have done this post-combat in case they want to kill the Prismari Dragon. But they didn't. Sure. Okay. 1-0. Felt pretty convincing. Opponent doing some weird stuff with this wedding announcement, but... And also Cinderclasm was really good against them. But okay, on to the next one. Alright, on the play with kind of the nut. Fearsome Whelp on the play with a dragon in hand. We're pretty pleased with that. And let's get this out of the way. Fetching, probably red. Yeah. We just want as many dragons in hand as possible. Shambligast. Okay, so we've got a rematch. I think it's a different guy, but... We played this on red. Yep. So we'll play this on blue. Fearsome Whelp comes down, and now you see the power. We have our turn 3 and our turn 4 play lined up pretty well. We are never blocking this in a million years. If they sacrifice it, they get to kill the Whelp, which sucks, but at least they're not making a treasure. They do have to kill it. It just represents way too much value. And next turn we get to play Imrith. And everything is coming at Millhouse. Sure. And they miss a land drop. Ooh, okay, does that change anything? I think it does. I think what I want to do is I want to cast Expressive Iteration, get another dragon into my hand, and then play the Whelp and discount Imrith yet again and another dragon. Alright, so I guess we can't. Okay, that sucks. I think I want the Iteration in my hand. I think I would rather draw the Spikefield Hazard in the future than the Dragon's Fire, so we'll put that back in the deck, exile the Dragon's Fire, bolt in the land, and down comes Fearsome Whelp. And now Imrith is going to cost 3. Oh, I see. It's like color-screwed vampires, maybe? No. Alright, now I'm really not sure. Alright, so... Expressive Iteration for sure. Try to hit untapped land, which we do, but we don't hit a dragon, which is sad. 5/0 seems good. I'd rather draw this later. And let's just get the thing with Ward down, right? The alternative is we can Galazeth Prismari, hold up Dragon's Fire. Which is, like, not shabby either. But this plays around their removal. The Voldaren Bloodcaster deck is probably not playing sweepers. I guess they could have, like, Soul Shatter. Okay, well, that makes things significantly easier. Yeah. And this lets us divide by 0 without cracking the treasures, which seems pretty good. Teaching seems outstanding as well. I don't know that I want to attack with the Imrith, do I? Like, just expose it to what's certainly a Doomblade. It's never going to connect. There you go. They kill the Prismari, which is nice because we already have another one in hand. This Teachings is going to draw at least 2, probably 3 cards. That is an aggressive attack. I suppose the argument here is that if we block it, then they take our Fearsome Whelp, which is true. All right. Let's get this into play. Galzeth Prismari comes down. Okay, okay. Not really... Not outstanding value. We are going to get in for a bunch. We'll play this stuff pre-combat so that Imrith will draw us the card, I think. No Fatal Push in the format. Actually, Fatal Push wouldn't even hit Imrith. Alright, now we've got a 2-mana Town-Racer Tyrant in hand against a land-screwed opponent. This feels pretty good. Not gonna lie, this feels pretty good. Yeah. Infernal Grasp, better than Power Roadkill against us. But still not great. I don't know, maybe... I feel like Town-Racer Tyrant might be better if it targeted non-basic lands. Like... I don't know. Alright, so we're up against, once again, black-white stuff. Well, no, that's actually just black stuff. Unless they were color-screwed as well, which I guess is possible. So probably the more traditional big spells deck. I think I convinced myself in the last match that I do want Disdainful Stroke and Negate, because nothing else was really going to hurt us too badly. Cinderclasm is, like, less good. Although they did show us Voldaren Bloodcaster, so they have some sort of blood sub-theme as well, which maybe means the Cinderclasm is good. Fading Hope seems abysmal against the deck that's running a bunch of sacrifice cards, like Village Rites. What's it called? Deadly Dispute. That's the one. And so now what's the question is, what do we want to get rid of? Dragon's Fire seems pretty medium. Again, the Town-Racer Tyrant also just seems kind of bleh. I guess I want an answer to lull, so maybe the Dragon's Fires are kind of okay, and we trim 2 of these on the draw, and we undo that. We reverse that on the play. On the play, the plan is to just never let them resolve a Planeswalker. But on the draw, we need to be a little more conservative, I think. Yeah. Definitely keeping this. The mana is awkward. No Eye Twitch or Shambling Ghast on one is nice. We'll just get the blue and the red into play, because I'm not sure if I want a Fading Hope or Spikefield Hazard next turn. Seems like we want to do neither. It's also fine with me. Graveyard Trespasser? I'm trying to think of what they can play on 3. That would scare me. Anything I want to negate on 3? They could have the enchantment that makes the Blood Artist. That would be worth countering. That, in fact, that's certainly what it is, right? That's what the blood is for. Okay. Yeah, okay. They wouldn't keep a hand that didn't have a 3-drop. Like a 1, 2, or 3-drop. Okay. Well, we can Fading Hope that if nothing else. Sure. And if they want to Deadly Dispute this, then that's fine. They do not. Yeah, that's an untapped land. We'll keep that. I think I want this on red. Even though we have the 2 red lands in our hand, I think at least one of them is going to be cast as a spell. Replay the Witch, sure. Yeah. It's a pretty good draw. Play the Orb, Bolt in the land, hold up negate. Seems reasonably good. Because I'm just so confident that one of these cards must be like Deadly Dispute or something. And I don't want to just divide it by 0. I will take 1. You got it. They can eventually just start beating us with the Hive. Yeah, so Wealth has to go. Yeah, you're late. This play here is probably Goldspan Dragon into Fearsome Whelp. Say do your worst. We can also Fearsome Whelp hold up Divide by 0 if they have another Planeswalker, which makes a ton of sense, actually. Yeah, I think I like that even more. Can't really stop this, and I'm not convinced I care. Yeah, I think whatever they fetch with the Witch, it will be the better target for the Divide by 0. And if they want to drain themselves for 2 and I have a big hasty dragon coming, I think I'm okay with that. They do get to draw a bunch. Ideally, we draw like untapped land here. Which is Oven. Okay. Oh, that's what they drew off the Witch. I'm sure. There's no way that's in the main deck. All right. So it does kind of suck that if the Goldspan Dragon dies here, we don't get the treasure because of the nerf. Which maybe means we're supposed to play it slow. Okay. This feels pretty bad. Maybe I punted this. Yeah, maybe I was supposed to wait one more turn. I was pretty patient the turn before, and I guess I felt I couldn't be patient again. But now if they resolve like Lolth or Sorin, it does hurt. This doesn't seem so bad. We take 6. Yeah, that seems okay. All right. And I think we're holding back the Whelp to double block the Hive? Okay. So Imrith is going to be tough for them to deal with. Obviously, we won't block the Fellstinger with it, but I'm not like married to this Whelp anymore. Meat Hook Massacre for X equals 5. How do we feel about that? We can divide our own Imrith. But with another divide in hand, again, I think I'm okay just bouncing this back to hand. Running it back and having the option again next turn. Teaching seems reasonable. Okay. Imrith is going to draw a card no matter what. Go up to 4. Teachings will go down to 3. So we will draw again. Yeah. We do have to be wary of the Hive, but not like super wary of it. Okay. Don't think I'm attacking with the Whelp. I think I do want to just trade it off, or chump it off. Chump the Stinger off with it next turn, depending on what we draw. Yeah, so Teachings doesn't allow us to divide, while this does. Oops. This will trigger the next Prismari Dragon will be cheaper. I am a little scared. But we do have Divide by 0 and 9 power in the air against their 10 life total. And if they run back the Massacre for 5, that taps them out. Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, this whelp has done his job. Another Fell Stinger will put them at 8, which will kill them. Yeah, so this... What happens if the Meathook Massacre gets into play? We can either bounce our Imrith, which is, like, not awful. What do you... Can I see how much it was discounted to? No, I can't. Oh, okay. It's a 3-drop. So, like, we can discount... Like, we can rebuy the Imrith, replay it, and then also play Galzith Prismari again, which feels pretty good. If that happens, we lose 1, they gain 1. Do we have a way to kill them? Yeah, we sure do, right? We have a bunch of Goldspan Dragons we can hit with this. I think the Goldspan Dragon is the only thing that matters here, so I don't even think I want to learn. And we're just going to dig as deep as we can in the deck to find the Goldspan Dragon. Oh, I didn't expect that. Okay, that makes it significantly harder. Alright, well now we could be in some trouble. Yeah, definitely. Now Goldspan Dragon doesn't do it, so now I think we just take our draw step. It was there on top. Okay. How many of these can they power up? This costs 4. So they can't power up both, but the Meathook Massacre is coming. And we also have Divide by Zero available. Okay, that makes me feel much better. So now the Meathook Massacre isn't any good anymore. Oh, we actually are dead, right? I miscounted. 6, 7, 8. Damn. That's embarrassing. I attacked wrong. I suppose I can try digging for Fading Hope. No! Well, I was gonna crack both treasures. Yeah, it didn't matter. I wanted to crack both treasures for mana. Ugh, what a tilt. Okay, let's just do better in game 3. And on the play, I think I do want to bring back the Tyrants and take out... The Cinderclasm didn't seem very good post-board. I guess they were afraid of it. And probably the Negate. Keep the Strokes in. Like, Inferno is just going to die. Okay. Yeah, I mean, this is kind of what we're looking for on the play. Ideally, we'd find Fearsome Whelp. Yeah, no. We don't really want Fading Hope. Alright, have a Town Razor Tyrant. Turn 3 Town Razor on the play. Not bad. Okay. It's like Spikefield Hazard, right? Divide by 0 is too good. Either we hit a land and play Imrith, or we don't and hold up Divide by 0. It also seems fine. I think I want Goldspan Dragon in hand. No, I want Town Razor Tyrant, right? Because their hand is probably all removal. See what they do. They could have another Go Blank. If they do, I'm not sure what to keep. It's probably Imrith. No. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, they do have another Go Blank. Yeah, I think it's... I think it's this. And am I into cracking the orb? I don't think so. Interesting. What does this do for us? Not much yet. I just want to put as much pressure on them as possible. So this one already has the thing on it. And this way, like, even if they kill the Tyrant, at some point they're going to need to sack those lands, and this is early enough in the game that that really matters. And the Prismari Dragon coming down next turn. It's just I'm just glad that there's actually fuel here. Cosmos Elixir, interesting. So they're going to gain 2 per turn. Scry Bottom, sure. So we have 5 mana. We can do both. Do we want to do both? Probably. Probably not, actually, because if they wipe the board, which is all that matters here, then we can play Fearsome Whelp, crack the orb, and discount whatever dragon we hit. Does 1 extra damage per turn really matter all that much? Probably not. And this also makes them think. Although I guess this way, having the Whelp means that they need 2 removal spells to live if they take both pings of damage here. Not many... Not sure what they could have in the way of board wipes. Sealing Curtains is, like, fine. That's not going to do it. So after seeing that, yeah, we'd be pretty happy to have the Fearsome Whelp in play. But luckily they came up empty. 2-0. Okay, on the play with a playable Whelp on turn 2. We are happy campers. And if the Whelp dies, then we get to play another one the next turn. And life is good. Really all we want is land at this point, I would think. We've gotten paired up to Diamond. Someone who looks like they're in Diamond like 2 or 3-ish. Black-white again. The third Whelp, not really where we want to be. However, well, we can't cast both next turn because we don't have the right mana. But it even does discount the other Whelps in hand. So this could get silly in a hurry. Tough card to play against. Like, when you see someone play Fearsome Whelp against you on the play, you do feel behind. That's pretty good. What to do, though? So if we play the Tyrant and it dies, then we don't have the Dragon's Fire available, and we get a benefit from having a discount. I think what I like is... Well, hold up Fading Hope. And then next turn, at a minimum, we have Town Razor Tyrant. Plus Fading Hope if they don't do anything here. I will take 2. Alright, this is Esper. Righteous Valkyrie, how does this work? It doesn't. Okay, are we attacking? Alright, so here I think we're just scrying into untapped land. That's pretty good. Actually kind of like this. Yeah. And I guess I want to take them off of blue? So, and now we can even Fading Hope our own Town Razor Tyrant. In response to like a kill spell. And it will retain the discount. It's still just going to be a 2-mana dragon. See what they do. Sure. So we can Fading Hope the Veteran, and then Dragon's Fire the Valkyrie, which I think is much better than the other way around. I would like to draw something more gaseous. Yeah, well, we can't allow that to stick around. As much as I would like to get this in play. They sacked the land, okay. So against the life gain deck, I think we need to close this up pretty quickly. So they can play probably 1 creature here tops. They'll gain 1 life. Up to 8. We're swinging for 7. Another Town Razor Tyrant would be really good. At minimum, we can cast the orb and crack it and get 3 triggers of the Whelp off whatever dragon we hit. You have to be a little careful to not just die. That also seems pretty good. But I think I want that in case they play another Valkyrie. Neither of those are, like, super special. We'll take this anyway. Go to 1. They have a lot they need to worry about here. I don't know how they deal with the board and the Townraiser Tyrant in hand. I guess that does it if we don't hit land. Right? No, it doesn't. Actually, it does, right? Like, we can't deal with that Voice of the Blessed now that it's a 6/6. We can kill the Spellbinder and get in for 3. Yeah, it's kind of awkward. They take the Dragon's Fire. That's interesting. And we go to 8. So what to do? Can only force through 2 damage here. Let's see. Wow. All right. I don't know. Maybe they found their way out of this. I don't think we can attack. Like, we have to be concerned about our own life total now. Next turn we can swing. If the Voice eats one of the Tyrants, then we can kill it with the Dragon's Fire. They're at 2. They kept the land around. They're gonna go back up to 4. This would be a heartbreaker to lose. They scry top. It's Oprah. Okay. The Voice of the West goes up to an 8/8. Alright. But are they not just dead now? They feel pretty dead. Because I just kill Paulo. Right? This is over? No, right? Because Oprah will let them recur something. Return target cleric card with lesser value. Do they have a flyer for 2 mana? They don't. That does it cleanly, right? Without needing to worry about graveyard shenanigans. They can block both Tyrants and the Goldspan Dragon gets through? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that definitely felt, that felt like it was slipping away. But we got there. Okay, so Esper Clerics. Feels like Cinderclasm is good. Disdainful Stroke, not great. Hermit, not great. Negate, not great. Inferno, maybe good against their game 1 deck, but probably not good against them post-sideboard when the removal spells come in. So we just need to make 2 more cuts. I think this is all we want to do. What should those cuts be? I think the Tyrant is decent. Goldspan Dragon seems like a little worse, but it's also like one of our most powerful ways to win the game. I don't want to cut any Dragon's Fires. I don't want to cut any Fading Hopes. Maybe we trim... Maybe just trim 2 of the bigger boys, the legendary ones. I'm not sure that's right. Like, maybe against Esper, Imrith is supposed to stay in. It depends on, like, what... It depends on what their sideboard is like. It's so close to keepable. Like, so close. Okay. Feels like I really want turn 2 to be Orb, and then turn 3 to be Expressive Iteration or Divide by Zero. But I also am, like, super reluctant to get rid of the Dragon's Fire. But I think, given that I have the Divide by Zero, it has to be one of these two, and I'd rather keep Divide. Because I don't have Dragon. Alright, good draw. We would love untapped land here. Untapped land makes our dreams come true. What are you? When it enters the battlefield or you cast a party spell, a party creature perpetually gets +1/+1. Okay. We did not hit our untapped land. We did hit a dragon, so Fearsome Whelp is a little better. It's probably supposed to be Orb into Whelp. But this feels pretty rough. Now, Imrith is at a discount. We draw untapped land. We can... not a whole lot, actually. But we could divide plus Expressive Iteration. In fact, we can Expressive Iteration... Not sure. The Voice of the Blessed is going to be a big problem eventually. We do have the answer for now in the form of Divide by Zero. But this is scary. So, untapped land, probably we divide by 0 plus Spikefield Hazard the veteran. And for now, we just take 5. It is untapped land. Though, the Cleric puts a wrench in the gears, because now hitting the Lunarch doesn't do all that much for us. Like, so divide by 0, the voice comes right back down the following turn, and we're not too happy. So I think the play here is going to be Imrith plus Spikefield Hazard the Lunarch veteran. Imrith will block something so we don't die. And in fact, I'm kind of inclined even to just throw the Whelp under the bus. And hopefully, they get aggressive, we get to divide by 0, and we get in for a bunch. Okay. So that's the one they pumped from early in the game. This is tough. What's this? What color is this? This is black, so they even have a removal spell possibly available if I attack with Imrith next turn. It's kind of sick. I do want this to die before Oprah comes down. Alright. Alright. So ideally we'll get a dragon in our hand, but of course we do not. So we'll put the divide to hand. I want to draw this later when I might scry off of it. But for now, we want this untapped. And the threat here is that they just go get the Inquisitor Captain, right? And then they just really go off. The Whelp is probably going to have to go under the bus. So we traded off the Imrith there, anticipating that they had a removal spell there. If they do have the removal spell, we are effectively dead. Yeah, so they're going to play this. They're going to sack it to the Pyre and get the Inquisitor Captain. Yeah, this Whelp has done all it can do. Just want to keep our life total high. And I don't think we have enough gas to get through this. Oh, they get Paulo. Okay, that's also really bad. So we can't cast the Exhibition. The Divide by Zero. The problem is they have that cave. So we need to divide by 0 into Fading Hope. Right? And I guess we do it now while they're tapped out. I guess that kind of works. I didn't see that as an out. I was looking at 1 mana spells. Still feel massively dead. Maybe because that was an out, I was supposed to pitch the iteration instead of the Mascot Exhibition, because we might be able to cast it next turn. They can't cast the Voice. Or whatever that's worth. But with no board wipes here, I think we're just... Yeah, so now they fetch the Inquisitor Captain, and they go way off. And Spikefield Hazard isn't going to cut it. We have 4 mana. Yeah, we're dead. That's a tough one. Okay. So on the play, then... Cinderclasm doesn't seem great. It seems like, once again, they took out most of the 1 toughness things. I guess they didn't. They kept the Lunarch Veteran. They need to keep those in to enable the life gain. Maybe I just don't like Fading Hope, and instead I prefer to kill things with Cinderclasm. We do have 4 Divide by Zeros after all. Maybe this is what we're going for. We did find the Cinderclasm. The hand is not outstanding. But if we find untapped land, then we get to divide by 0. We get a scry at it. Whelp is also pretty good. We'll keep the Whelp. It's like finding a land for the dragons. Does die to the Cinderclasm, so we do need to be a little careful. But if we play it, then we get 2, and it lives, then we get 2 end-step triggers, and if it doesn't live, then the Cinderclasm won't hit it anyway. Is there a world where we're supposed to bottom that well? I can't imagine, right? Like we're supposed to keep up Divide by 0 or something. Alright, so at minimum we can kill that with Dragon's Fire. I would really like to just cast a Town Razor Tyrant next turn. No such luck. We're probably supposed to do this before they can counter it. And next turn we still will not get to cast the Tyrant unless we draw untapped land. I don't know, that Scry decision is kind of haunting me. The Whelp seems so good. Untapped red? No, of course not. Okay. Tough. I mean, 10 cards deep, only finding 2 lands is pretty rough. Let's see if they play into the Cinderclasm. Alright, it's gonna hurt. But I think we need to start doing this. I want to knock them off blue, if possible. I don't think they're going to have any trouble with their black and white spells for the rest of the game. Okay, so now the Cinderclasm looks outstanding. Do we do this now? How do we get punished? Alright. Do this now. We have Divide by 0 for anything that happens. Kind of cool that the we still get the 4/4 even though we only paid 2 to cast the Tyrant because the CMC is the same. For some reason in my head we were still only going to get the 2. A 2/2, that is. I like doing this. If the Voice of the Blessed ends up flying, then we can divide it by 0, get it out of the way, and attack with Imrith. And... Alright, Oprah's annoying. So this is return target cleric card with lesser mana value. These are both 2-drops, so they get nothing back. You are extraordinarily late. Um, 9, 10. It's not lethal. He has a ton of pressure. Taking down the Divide by Zero shield, what's the worst that can happen? Pyre of Heroes, sacrificing Voice, getting Inquisitor Captain, and kind of going off that way seems really, really bad for us. Okay. I've convinced myself. We can't kill them next turn anyway. They did sacrifice their blue land. They're attacking us with Oprah. So Oprah will die and get back Skyclave Apparition or Righteous Valkyrie or a bunch of stuff. So I'm just taking 3. These things will grow, but that's not so bad. Another Oprah. So Oprah will kill Oprah, and the cycle repeats. This is going to be a slugfest. The alternative is we let Oprah resolve and take the Cleric with Divide by Zero. They return... Skyclave Apparition doesn't hit anything. Righteous Valkyrie comes back as a 3/5. I don't think so. We send this back. Take Teachings. Cinderclasm is too little too late. How does Smashing look? Smashing is only 2 damage as well, so nothing super special there. This comes in tapped. I guess this goes to hand. Cinderclasm goes back. This gets exiled. Put this on blue. And they're going to go off. Glass Pool Mimic. It's probably Town Razor Tyrant and then Mimic trying to Stone Rain them a bunch. I am scared. A lot of bad things are going to happen to us. But Teachings will draw us some cards. This is tricky. This is a close game. They're going to gain a bunch of life. That Voice of the Blessed is going to become a 6/6. If we block here, then they don't have to play the Oprah. I'm not sure going to 7 matters. If we eat this, Oprah brings back Righteous Valkyrie, right? Righteous Valkyrie comes into play. These trigger, and they have other stuff as well. No, we just take 3. And we need to hit, like, Fading Hope, Divide by 0, that kind of stuff. These things are big. Yeah, this is kind of a disaster, honestly. We have the option to Shatter Skull Smashing for 6, which does kill 2 of their flyers. The problem is that Oprah's going to get stuff back. Divide by 0. Okay. They might get aggressive. I don't see how we beat this. Okay. I mean, their life total doesn't matter, right? Like, at this point, they don't even need to pay. I think we were a turn short. And now they've stabilized and we're in trouble and we're just fighting for our lives. We can try to divide by 0 into, like, a Fading Hope by pitching a land. Maybe that's the right thing to do. Because the only thing we have left in the sideboard is Environmental Sciences and Mascot Exhibition, and none of them move the needle all that much. Because everything that Mascot Exhibition creates just gets badly outsized. And with Oprah in play, the trades are bad for us too. Yeah. We just need them to misplay now. How aggressive do you get? Yeah, okay. I don't really want them replaying that this turn. Yeah, I think this is the play, and then we bounce it on end step. Fire is scary, but I don't know that we can really do anything about it at this point. Okay. I think we are hosed, unfortunately. Because they're going to replay the voice here, and everything is going to grow out of control, and we don't have any sweepers. I think it was that, Cinderclasm play that we made that lost us the game here. Like, killing those 2 Skyclave apparitions, it didn't affect the board that much, and if we had been able to kill their Voice of the Blessed and the Cleric when they were both in play the following turn, which is literally what happened the next turn, we would have been in much better shape. I don't know that they would have played into it, but yeah, definitely in retrospect, that feels like the big mistake. I suppose we're supposed to hold on to the Cinderclasm there. So this thing is going to grow. I guess it doesn't fly yet. But we're super dead, right? They're at 46. Yeah, fuck this. Game over. Good game. Okay, so 2-1. I do feel like we lost that one because of a misplay very early on in that game, and then it just snowballed out of control for us. Don't feel like I played super well today, but all told, the deck feels powerful, but we definitely had a lot of hands that did not have Fearsome Whelp in it. And then not only was it a standard deck, it was a bad standard deck because it was a Goldspan Dragon deck with the nerfed Goldspan Dragon and just like the cast and crew from standard that are already not good enough in Izzet Dragons. So feels like you must draw these cards. Even the orb doesn't seem great because even that's in standard already. It feels like you must draw Fearsome Whelp, and if you don't, then you're in some trouble. Yeah, and the other thing I'm kind of surprised about is that we lost to that creature matchup at the end. Like, Clerics is no joke. I'm interested to see how control decks do against that, to see if it gets hated out of the format. But I would have thought that this deck would have just dummied creature decks. But we had the opposite experience. We beat up on mono black and black white control and lost to creatures. So, okay. Well, that's all for this one. Thank you very much for watching. I will bring you another deck, another new Alchemy deck as I explore the format in the next couple of days. Until then, have fun.